Hello. Good morning or afternoon or evening to you. Welcome to this exploration around waking up with your family and what that means. What that means to you. Good morning, Christine. So lovely to see you here. Yeah. I'm Michaela, Ellis, and I'll just share a little bit about my background. And if you've been here before, like Christine, then you've heard this. So I'll be quick. I have a background in energy work and coaching. And I kind of come to anything that I do, not just in my professional life, but in my personal life as well, with an understanding of how the mind and how life works. I've been a student of many different, dabbled in many different spiritual teachings over the years. A Course in Miracles, Abraham Hicks, Deepak Chopra, a bit Muji, and others. And what I really kind of got, and then of course in the energy work that I've done, it too was based on who we really are, what we really are. There's all we are one, that we come from the same source of energy, creator, universal life, infinite intelligence. So it's pointing to the same place. And 3 years ago, when I came across an understanding called the three principles, it's just another way of speaking of the same. We are one. We are the essence of our creator. The creative energy of life is living through us, animating us. And that is what we are more of than anything that we can see. We see our body, we see our emotions, we see our behavior, we see our actions, and we believe that that is what we are, that is who we are, and that is all we are. And it's just a simple misunderstanding. And I will always invite you to check this out for yourself, to test it out and just see how it's true. Not just for me, not just for you, but it's true for all human beings. So the three principles were articulated by a gentleman, a Scottish welder who lived and worked on Salt Spring Islands in BC. Good afternoon, Claire, my lovely friend. So nice to have you here. So he had, Sydney Banks, he had an enlightenment experience, a very potent one that changed his life forever. That basically the clouds of thought and misunderstanding fell away. And he saw clearly that our personal realities, what we experience as life, typically, conditionally, is all made up in our own thinking. It is thought created. We are projecting it out and then experiencing it as if it's happening out there or to us. When in actuality, what's happening is we are experiencing it from the inside out. It's the only way that we can experience our life. So when I first heard someone speak about this, something clicked. Something suddenly made sense. Where all of the teachings and the learnings that I had been, dabbling in and taking in here, and what I thought I knew and how I thought I knew it. It's like, I know that I'm creating my own experience. But did I? I did. I didn't understand how to do different. If that is so, how do I experience more of what I want? Because why would I want what I'm getting? So what I found in the understanding of these three principles of divine mind or universal mind, and basically that is the creative energy, that is infinite intelligence, God, Allah, Buddha, spirit, your gut, however you speak to that invisible yet energy that you feel when you know something. There is a feeling of calm, of well-being, of peace when you are present to it. It is living you and guiding you 24/7 without us even knowing it, until you become a little more aware. And consciousness, one of the principles, is about awareness. It's the ability that we have to be aware of our surroundings, everything that seems to be out there. Okay, but get this. It seems that we're aware of all of that. What we're aware of is our experience of what we see out there from within. So consciousness, awareness, being more aware, and that's always possible. You are becoming more aware, more conscious, whether you intentionally are looking to become more aware, like I am, and when I'm not, when I'm just hanging about and lounging in my hammock or swinging on my swing or engaging with my family, which we will delve into today. We are becoming more aware all the time. It's just something that happens. A really simple example is, if a memory comes up of something you've done in the past and you think, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? You were thinking whatever was making sense to you at the moment, that's what was happening. And now, however many days, weeks, minutes, hours, years later, you have become aware of something that has changed your experience, that no longer makes sense. I wouldn't do that again. It doesn't make sense anymore. You're only doing what makes sense to you in the moment. And then thought. Thought is the third principle. There's not really any order, because there's only one. I see that these three principles, when I look to, the 12, don't ask me to name them, I don't know offhand what they all are. But when I look at them, I'll do a talk on that one day and just press the principles against this. Because what I see is this simple understanding encapsulates all of the spiritual laws as someone, I don't know who, created. The law of vibration, of attraction. And of course, there's the mother of all, oneness. And as Sydney Banks has said, there's not really three principles. There's one. It happens simultaneously every moment of every day. It's just what you're living. It's like a fish living in water. It doesn't know it's living in water, but it is. It doesn't know that it's swimming, but it is. We are living the principles is just what happens and what we're experiencing. So the principle of thought is creative. It's creative energy. Everything is created twice. First in thought and then in form. Not necessarily that it's out here, but we are experiencing our thoughts. So it's formed energy, even. It rises up. Now I'd like to talk about, just briefly, personal mind, universal mind. Our personal mind, this is how we all have our own reality. How we can be in the same room with the same family members, and we'll all experience something a little differently, and maybe radically differently, because of what we're thinking. And our personal mind thinking is colored by your culture, where you live in the world, your family dynamics, the conditioning, your schooling, the people that you went to school with, your friends. It's colored by your experiences and others' experiences that you've observed. They're not even yours. And then we'll take all that, and it's like, this is how the brain works. It sifts through everything and it puts together a story. This, that. It's like a little Rolodex of thoughts, feelings, experiences, things that you've seen on TV or heard on the news or heard what happened in the neighborhood or whatever. It just takes it all in. It's like an information gathering place. And it's all known. So the only surprises that really come of that is like how it gets pieced together each time. Because from moment to moment, it'll grab various bits of information that it's been storing, and it'll put together a puzzle. It'll chisel off the edges and make it fit. And then you look at it and you believe it, you see it, you experience it, because what you experience is the feelings of what it is that you're looking at, believing in, making meaning of. Universal thought, divine thought, is unknown. It is delightful. I was going to say surprise, but it's not always surprising, because it could be, that's a great idea. Or it could be as simple as, okay, what's happening today? Oh, I'm going to go clean the litter, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this. Ooh, I'm going to phone so-and-so. Hey, I should run out and get some milk. When you allow the universal thought, divine thought to lead you, with the universal energy, because it's all happening together. When you allow that to lead and guide you, you flow. Life feels easier, simpler, less effort. And when you try and use your personal mind to figure it all out, it's like having your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time. It's jerky, can be a little hard. Let's look at family. Waking up with your family. You know, those closest to us and those we live in close proximity or not, but we've had a history with them. Let's look at the dynamics of family. We've known them all our life. We've shared in a number of experiences. Now remember, even though we were experiencing, we were there in the same room, in the same farm. I grew up in a farm in southeast Saskatchewan. I'm the youngest of 7. So my experience of growing up was very different than my 3 brothers, than 3 older sisters. There were some things that we can agree on, that we saw, and it's fun when we talk about this, you know, or how it was with mom, how it was with dad, how it was on the farm, how it was with our pets, and the pets were different throughout the years. We have a different experience. We have a different slant. We have a different story. So there are facts to any circumstance, situation, and then there is story. And story is just our own thoughts about it, the meaning that we make of it. When you, so when you have a sense of that, when you can understand that, it takes away a little bit of that where you want to be right. No, it was like this. Don't you remember when mom did it? And it's like, no, mom said this and then that and then this other thing. It's like, no. If you can just allow that understanding to come with you in all of your relationships, in your family or friends or anywhere. And just understanding that, it is an impossibility for us to always be on the same page. It's just impossible. We can get really close. At times it feels like, oh yeah, on the same page. And then all of a sudden something comes out of the other's mouth and it's like, I've noticed that is when we can get into, oh, let me help you see this right. Let me help you get it right. Let me make life easier for you. Here, let me show you how I see it. This will help. I'll still do it. Since it's been 3 years since having this understanding and seeing how how life works and how we think. And I forget all the time because I'm human and you are too. You can never escape your humanism. Well, one day you will. When spirit is done all it wants to experience in your body, then, well, I don't know what happens then. But I do know that spirit is energy. It lives on. The body is energy, a different kind of energy, a decomposing type of energy, and it'll go back and be used for something else. Until that happens, you are human and you will forget because we have this personal mind that comes with the body. It's like part of the kit. So in looking at family and we have these known things. Ah, yeah, Michaela, right. She's the baby of the family. Anyone else out there, the baby of the family? Even a couple of years ago, my brother, one of my brothers, sent me a happy birthday text. And he said, "Happy birthday, baby girl." I cried. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know why it actually touched it again. It touched something in me, but it's like not not it wasn't sad or anything. It was just it was just an emotion. I don't really know what it was. Sweet. I the baby of the family. Christina, you're the youngest of four and they still treat you like you're 12. Yeah. I had my family camp this past weekend, and the last two summers we meet every summer, not all of us, but there was actually 30 of us. It's a lot more young kids. It's fun, just really fun. And I've noticed that okay, last year it was a little different. It was better. It was better as in I have a hard time holding the stage. When I'm sharing something, I feel like I start to shrivel and pull in because what do I know? I was 4.5 years behind the next oldest. And there's like almost 18 years between the oldest and I. And I could just feel like I start to talk really fast. And I've actually noticed that. You can relate, Christine. Yeah, right? Well, I know last year it was different. It was better, as in I was more open to share. This year it was even better. Where better as in I just felt more relaxed. I know at one point, and I went into the weekend really knowing that it was going to be super hot, like 35 degrees on Saturday. I knew there was going to be, we were taking our kayaks along and big like river tubes to play in the water. I knew I would likely go for a walk at some point, likely early in the morning. There was that possibility. There was the possibility of water play. There was, in the tubes and in the kayak, there was going to be food. There was going to be conversation. There was likely going to be a water fight at our group site, and there was going to be laughter. There might have been card. I just like all of these things came up. It's like, oh, all of these things are likely going to happen or not. I don't know, but all of that was all possible. And I was curious. I went in with curiosity. I wanted to slow down and do a little of observing. And it wasn't that I wasn't, yeah, it wasn't that I used it as an experience. If you've been on my calls before, I say I'm my own human experiment because I want to see more. I want an easier experience of life, not just for me, but for my family. Because if I'm all caught up in my thoughts and thinking and making meaning of stuff, well, I'll share an example. I can actually create conflict where it wasn't, where it creates a little static. And, in a moment, you can just let that drop. An apology and I was thinking this, you were thinking that. Crazy. Sorry about that. Wipe, wipe, clean, clean, clear, clear. Let's go have some fun. What are we going to do next? So I knew that was going to happen, some of those things. I knew it was going to be an experience. And I knew there would be all of the feelings. Or, well, I didn't know. I kind of thought that there would be because I feel all the feelings in a day, probably in an hour, in less than that. So it was interesting to see when I did have, and when I say the stage, it's not like all 30 people. No, it's just, a couple of people asking questions about my work and that kind of thing. And then I thought, and then I caught someone else that might have been listening in, and it's like, ooh, I started to feel a little nervous. I was getting up in my head, starting to make meaning of that. And I caught it because I was wanting to be present. I work better that way. When I can be present, and this is what I mean when, the feeling of presence, well, it's quiet. I almost use the word isolating, but not isolating as in, wait a minute, hang on, everybody back off, be quiet. I got to get present to who I am. Not that. It's like when I'm more present and I can feel that calm, that quiet, I can connect to that in another as well. I can resonate with where they're at. I don't know if that makes sense, but it seems getting present can be catchy, right? Just like when we're grumpy, grumpiness can be catchy too. Now, if you understand that we can only experience what we're thinking, we can only, our experience only comes from the inside out, then that makes no sense. No one, it doesn't matter what anyone else's experience is, whether they're grumpy or happy or sad or complaining or blamey, that the only way that will affect me is if I am having a thought about it, I am making meaning of it. Oh, they're grumpy. Oh, that energy. Oh, now I'm feeling grumpy. No, that is the only way I can experience it. So it seems catchy. It seems catchy, but only when we are not aware, only when we've forgotten that I can only experience and live from the inside out. So I caught it in that moment that I was starting to get, it's like, whatever. I can't control what anyone else thinks. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect who I really am. If I allow it to affect my actions or my words or that kind of thing, well, that is a choice, or it's like, oh, I forgot, but that doesn't have to happen like that. So let's take it to something simple, like dirty dishes. Dirty dishes left on the counter. My son he would come home from work and he would not unpack his lunch kit or anything. He would do it the next morning when the dishwasher is full of clean dishes, and he wouldn't, and bless him, and it's okay. But then there was always dirty dishes on the cupboard. And it's like, and it really bugged me for a long while. And then it's like, can you just do it in the evening and like get them washed? And it's like, and it sometimes happened and it sometimes didn't. And it's like, okay, can we at least all agree that all the dirty dishes go in the left-hand sink? Just that. Can we just do that? Then the cupboard is clear. I don't care about the stuff in the sink. When the dishwasher is emptied, probably by me, but maybe by someone else, then I can put the other dishes in. But there was a lot of angst within me about those dang dirty dishes every morning on the cupboard. But who did it affect? Me. Me. I was the only one experiencing that angst. I want to share a story about this was really good for me. And it'll demonstrate how what I want to kind of bring to light here is how we auto respond. How it's like, you get an email and immediately an email goes out and said, I'm out of the office till whenever. But there's no thought about it. It's just like click, click. Well, I saw that. So this is my daughter and husband and I. Anyways, we were at the beach, playing on the tubes. Something happened. There was some irritation and snap. And for my daughter, she just kind of snapped a bit. And we just, didn't say anything about it. Just let it all go, carried on. And on the walking back to the campsite, she she apologized for snapping and said, and sort of gave an explanation about it, about why. And anyways, it was about something, well, it was about hair and stuff. And I auto responded with, I get that. I felt that too at your age. I never thought anything of it. I never even thought about it before it came out of my mouth. It just kind of came out of my mouth, and she caught me on it. Why do you do that? You always assume, or you always make judgments about things. This has nothing to do with my age. And it's like, wow. I paused because it's just like, when I had to think about it, and it's like, yeah, it had absolutely nothing to do with how old she is. If you are so lucky to have someone who is willing to catch you up on things, it's an invitation in my family. Let me know. Let me know. I want to be aware of what's spewing out of my mouth. If I was really present in that moment, well, here's what I saw when I kind of, pondered it after. And it's just like, isn't that interesting? It's like, what was I doing? What was happening behind the scenes? And you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. But I'm kind of curious and I was interested. And I kind of saw it's just like, wow, there's that, there's this thing about, and I'm a I'm a recovering people pleaser, and way better. Like, I noticed that this year too, that I just went and did things on my own. If I wanted to go for a swim, I went for a swim on my own after my walk in the morning, jumped right in with my runners and everything. It was so hot. It felt so good. And in the past, I might have like gone back to the campsite, put on my bathing suit, like hung around and waited till people had breakfast and didn't want to go. And it's just like, there's so much more freedom when you can just be present to what is rising up within you to do, what wants to be done. Just go do it. Just go do it. And don't let the second thinking weigh it down, slow it down, stop it even. What I kind of caught in that exchange was, a little bit of, wow, some automatic habitual kind of thinking, wanting to connect, looking for, it's like an automatic thing of the brain, like going through the Rolodex and looking for a way to connect. I'm already connected. We are already connected. We're already connected. I don't have to look for anything. If there was something to share, great. But it was an automatic thing. And all of the words indicated that I had a thought about it that, oh, that's an age thing. That in a few years, or when you're 50 something, you'll have a different experience of that. You won't care if your hair gets, whatever it gets. But that was just all made up. And it was so automatic. And all of that habitual thinking, it's just thought. That's thought too. I've said it before that it takes no time to break a habit because all it is thought. You can only think one thought at a time. So every moment is an opportunity it's like a gentle choice point. It's like another gentle choice point of what's next. And the thoughts will keep coming. And you can just say, next, next. Ooh, that feel next. In those moments of allowing, recognizing that it's a thought that's having you not feel great. It's not feeling helpful. There's a crack. There's a space made. So universal thought, divine thought. It's like there's a space of quiet that you can hear or catch it, receive it more easily. So our families are truly a wonderful classroom for us. Great reminders in there. When we have this awareness, we can catch when someone's doing something or saying something that's irritating us, or we don't like it, or we wouldn't do it like that, or let me show you how to do that. Here, let me teach you. I'm aware of that in here too. Actually, it's like I flip to teaching really easily. And I believe there are times for that. And there are times for no, not telling, rather knowing, understanding, knowing that we're all lived from the same intelligent energy. And we're all unique. So your essence, how it comes out in you, it'll make sense to you to do something different, to do it a different way. Probably get to the same endpoint, but there's a number of ways to do it. Does it matter if I can do it 2 minutes faster? No. If there's a safety thing in there, here, let's open up the barbecue before we turn the gas on. If there's those kinds of things, great. It's a great teaching moment. How can we inspire? How can we catalyze another or ourselves? How do we access that? Wow, just having a quiet moment. We always have access to it. And the only thing that slows us down or stops us is thinking that we have going on. Fearful thinking, something wonderful will come up to do. It feels wonderful. And then there's something that comes up from the personal mind saying, oh, but what if this? Or don't do that. Or this could happen. Or this happened to, Betty Joe 5 years ago. I don't want that happening. That could happen here, So we squash it. Is there anything that you would like to explore for yourself? Anything specific? Situations, family dynamics. We talk about this family dynamics, and it's kind of curious to me. And actually, I think maybe I'll see where this goes. Maybe not in this. I'm going to mention it just because it's curious, and it's come up. This idea about dynamics. Because the dynamics of something are really, it's like, so when I think about, my oldest brother who's alive, I have one brother that's passed and a sister that's passed. So it's just like, it's like did the family dynamics change when one was gone? Yeah, it did. Even my son, he's 20 or yeah. Oh, that was funny. Is he 21? He's 20 and he went to New Zealand at the end of April and he's playing hockey with one of the teams there for the summer and he's back. It was so surprising to me how the energy in the house, the dynamics changed when he was gone. I can't even really put my finger on it. And I'm going to say these words, but it's nothing. Again, it's not because of, he's a loud kid. He's actually a quiet guy. But I found that the house was quieter. Things seemed to slow down a bit. Curious, right? Because, he worked, he was saving his money to go to New Zealand for a few months. But yeah, so he wasn't even around a whole ton and he had his own space downstairs. But the dynamics changed. So really what changed? I know thinking changed. I know I didn't have to think about dirty dishes on the cupboard in the morning from the day before. I thought I kind of let that go, but who knows? Isn't it curious? What have you noticed in your family, in your dynamics? When someone is maybe away for the night, like overnight, the energy in the house changes. Really? No, my thinking changes. Less manergy. Christine, I think you mean that you don't have to manage as many things. Is that what you mean? Less to manage? You bet, Claire. Enjoy your tea. No less energy of men. Ah, God. Oh, man. Oh, got it. Got it. Got it. Interesting. I'd be curious. I don't need to know this, but I'm just going to pose this. It's like, what do you believe about men? What kind of thoughts do you? Yeah, but I see. But yes, I see. It's my thinking. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yes, Christine. That's cool. That's cool. I must say, this is helpful to me to explore this. I hope it is helpful to you. And is there something else? Like, please share if you feel like you would like to, and we can explore it. It's always, we're only ever experience what our experience is. It's internal. We experience the world from the inside out, even though it seems like it's whatever's happening out there is going to dictate to me what kind of day I'm going to have, or what kind of, you know, moment I'm going to have, what kind of time I'm going to have. Well, it depends who's there. I'll go to the event. Oh, wait, if they're going to be there, yeah, I'll go. That'll be fun. Or if they're going to be there, oh, I we make up stuff all the time. And we're already setting it up. Ooh, when William comes home, then I'm going to have to like manage my energy around dirty dishes on the cupboard. Oh my gosh. No, I don't have to. If I want to, if I choose to, I could still do that, but it's kind of a waste. It's kind of a waste. So I can think of many times where I wasn't bothered and they weren't put in the sink and I just picked them up and put them in. It took about, I don't know, 3 seconds. Whereas the thinking about, oh my gosh, there he goes, leaving this stuff on the thing again, and then it lingers on because I've given it energy, I've given it vocal energy. I'm hearing me, I'm feeling it, and it's like, and it lingers on. And I'm the only one suffering here. And I'll do it again, right? It's going to happen. I mean, I'm going to intend for it not to happen. I'm just going to like, dirty dishes, let it, but you know what? The stuff happens. Stuff happens that we're not even aware that's happened. I don't even know what I'm thinking as I'm walking downstairs, coming down to the kitchen. So whatever if I'm kind of, in a sort of a very present mode mind, when I'm present, when I'm just feeling okay, and that's when I know that I'm just present. Your natural state of mind, your true nature state of mind is calm, is peaceful, is free. That's home. It's home. So if I'm home, open to home, because it's there always for me, and I come downstairs, I'll just like, oh, pick them up and put them in. If I'm not, if I've already got things in my mind that I'm a little, worked up about, or not even worked up, but distracted by, or whatever, I might come see those dirty dishes and we might say, I got triggered. And it's like, that happens. It'll happen. You're human. Christine, my family members seem to operate on obligation a lot. I wonder how my thinking is different when I would rather do what I want. Me too, Christine. I wonder how it is for you, what your thinking is. Hi, Sunita. I hope this does not sound silly. What thoughts do you believe? What thought? No, not silly at all. What thoughts do I believe? Well, I probably have so many thoughts that I believe that I don't even know. Like when Elizabeth, my daughter Elizabeth, when she said that thing about her hair and I went into like age, I didn't know that I believed that someone who would be concerned about her hair in that way, beach, is because of the age. I didn't know that. So there are so many thoughts that I know I don't know. I'm guessing that there's still so many thoughts that I believe that I don't even know I believe. I don't even know it. But all of a sudden, something's going to come out of my mouth and someone's going to say, hey. And then I'll be like, oh, wow, okay. Thank you for letting me know about this, that this is something I believed. I didn't know. So I find it, Sunita, I find it difficult to know what thoughts to believe. Oh, great. Let's explore that because you don't have to believe anything. What I'm going to invite you to do though is because you're only doing things that make sense to you in the moment, right? And in order to do things in the moment that make sense to you, you believe something. So we believe that like it's a really big but yet very simple belief thing. You'll know you believe by how you move out in the world, how you respond to things. If you irritated by, okay, so let's take the dishes on the dirty. I believe that the dirty dishes in the dishwasher. And if it's full of clean dishes, that's what I believed. And when people didn't do what I expected, what I believe that everybody should know, that it's just common sense, doesn't it make sense? Well, guess what? There's many times where I go to put a dirty dish in the dishwasher and it's full of clean dishes and I don't want to do it right then. So sometimes I get to the end of the day and my sink is quite full of dirty dishes. And then right before supper, I will clean it out, or my daughter will clean it out and then get all the dirty dishes in. So even though I believe that we should all do that, I don't always follow it. So the thoughts to believe, Sunita, are the ones, and it's not even, I don't know why I'm getting caught on this word believe, because it sounds so, okay, here, I do believe that I am only experiencing, that I'm only feeling in my body. I talk a lot about the body because it's a magnificent indicator to us. And we use it for all kinds of things. But if we can keep our light, our attention, it is going to tell us by how it feels. Tense, contracted, sick, pain. It will let us know, or at least point us to, hey, check what you're thinking about. Check what you're making meaning of right here, because it's affecting me. And it's not your body that's telling you that. It's your creative energy. It's that which you are. It is using the body as an indicator to say, hey, you're not letting me flow here. I want to flow. Let me flow and everything will feel better. Believe me. Follow me. And me is you, Sunita. It is the formless part of you that is more of you than what you experience in, with this body. That this body is just a very tiny, teeny part of you. Your personality, your what you believe you are, that you're a mom or a partner or a worker, or, a business person or whatever. Those are just all sort of outside circumstances, things that you participate in. It's not who you are. Let's go back to this belief thing. I do believe that and really once even if you kind of hung your hat on that for a while, that because it's something you can test out in your life. You can test it out right here, right now. I'm just looking for something. Okay, I'll share this. This is going to be a little bit bizarre, but it's like this, and it could be like, it can be, oh, that's creepy. It's a little plastic eyeball from a bear that needs to be repaired. And when someone first looks at it, you can think, oh, I can look at it and it's like, oh, it's creepy. It's like, is it? It's a little piece of plastic that someone has put together. It has a ring of gold and a ring of black, and it's got some of the fuzz from the bear, the stuffed bear around it. It's like, but we could have all kinds of feelings toward it. Even thoughts about, ooh, that's a big eye. I wonder how big the bear is. Or what, oh, how did the eye come out? Like all kinds of things can come up. There's every moment of every day, there's an opportunity to test things out for ourselves, to see what's true. So rather than look at what do I need to believe, I invite you to look at what is true. Because what is true no matter who's looking at it. Does that make sense, Sunita? And was it helpful? Yes, I got scared first. Then when you explained what it is, I felt sorry for the bear. Oh, I'm sorry that was scary. I'm sorry. I should have thought about that or said it. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And I did think, oh, I should preface this with a story. And then, yeah. Anyway, all kinds of thinking happened and you experienced something. And someone else on the call will have experienced something else. Okay. Good. Right. Every moment of every day, you have the opportunity to just like take this into your life. Take this into with whether it's with your family, whether you're all by yourself. Because a lot of the things that I'm experiencing, that I'm noticing, it's like there's no one around. There's no one around except for me. So isn't that interesting? How can our families who are doing all these irritating, annoying things and they're making a decision and I think that's not good for them. I think they're going down the wrong path. And Christine and I laughed out loud. I save eyes too. That's funny. A girlfriend, just a little side joke, a girlfriend house and pet sit for us several months ago. And she brought with her those little sticky shaker eyeballs and she stuck them all over our plastic, or all of our containers, like condiments and stuff in our fridge. So when we opened up our fridge, we had all these little black eyes, all different sizes, staring at us. It was hilarious. There's still some in there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. How notice that's actually really great now that that comes out about notice how the family isn't even here. They're not even doing the things that I think are, should be done differently, or, why do they say it like that? Or why are they choosing to do that? Or all of that. It's just like I'm here all by myself. Yet I'm feeling all these things. They're nowhere here. It's a really great observation. So really you see things as they are. Yes, I find it most helpful, Sunita. See, look at the facts of a situation. When I'm really up in my head about something and I feel like I'm getting off track, it's like, oh my gosh, I recognize. Now it's been a while. I like I am interested. I am interested to experience my life differently. I want to see. And you do too. Therefore, you will. And actually, because as I said before, you are evolving anyways. Without consciousness is happening, it's just part of the system. So it's happening for you. But yes, when there's a situation, we're buying a moped for my daughter. I'm going to go look for it. We went to look at one. It wasn't, we were willing to pay him this amount of money. We had the cash, and then it actually was, it's just like, no, it's not road worthy. It needs work. And so we walked away, and I'm not a very good buyer shopper person, especially like used where, you, I don't know anything about moped engines, although I do know that that one didn't sound good. So I just felt like I had a lot of thinking about it. And there's one I'm going to look at again today. And it's like, okay, you know what? It looks better. There's less mileage. I had to look at the facts to just be clear. But I wanted to get this done today. It's okay. It's going to take an hour or whatever it's going to take. And then I have the rest of the day to do what I wanted to do. Sometimes it's just look at the facts, because there's very few, what I've kind of discovered is that there's very few facts in any situation. The fact was, William, he chose to just come home from work and just get on with his evening. He emptied his dishes in the morning. The machine was empty. He chose not to do it because usually, he probably didn't even allow enough time that he was gonna, it's like finely timed. So what are the facts? The facts are it, like, even all that stuff that I'm making up about why he didn't, because of timing and all that, that's just story too. And that's just made up thinking. But the facts are the dishes were put on the cupboard. That full stop. That is all. Oh, that's it. There was no malicious thinking. Well, I mean, no, I know that's not him. There was probably not a lot of thinking at all about it. But that doesn't matter. Whether there was or there wasn't is also irrelevant to me, because I can't experience his thinking. I can only experience my own thinking about anything. So the fact of the situation is there's dirty dishes on the cupboard. Full stop. Oh, so when you look at that, it's like everything else that was going on in my mind was story. Cool, right? I find it very helpful. In the Three Principles community, there is a lot of talk about not doing anything. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do. I found it so confusing and unhelpful for like two years until I caught that it's because once you recognize that you're feeling, you're thinking, that's it. You only your own. it takes all of the blaming, complaining, gripe, it just drops it. When I can see things clearly, fact, instead of making up story about it, making it mean something. Oh, he doesn't care about this house. He doesn't I can make up all kinds of stuff. I have no idea if he cares or not. Obviously, he's doing what makes sense to him. He's got dirty dishes. There's nowhere to put them. He puts them to the easiest place where he empties his out. That's where it goes. And sometimes it goes in the sink. That's it. I find that helpful, Sunita. So if you want to try that out and just see how that feels for you to test it out in your life, it's cool. Helpful? Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Our families are great. You'll test it out. Awesome. I'm going to test some things out too. And maybe I'll do a talk about listening or something around listening too. Because really it's about listening. And it's not even like acted like listening. It's like, I don't know. Listening is important. You're welcome, Christine. Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway, let's leave that there for today. If this is interesting to you and deep listening, yes. Enemy? Is that correct? It's pretty deep listening. Yes, lovely. And even light listening at times. Like just seeing what, because I love deep listening and I use that too. And I'll just preface it with how I see it. Like it's not, I'm listening. It's not that, because that's very heady almost. Listening to get information, listening to understand. Let me figure this out. And because when we listen to understand or to figure out, we're comparing it to what we know. We're comparing it to, okay, well, Deepak says it this way. Abraham says it this way. Sydney Banks says it this way. Eckhart Tolle says it this way. It's like, what? And then in your mind, you're not even listening anymore because you're trying to figure out and compare and make sense of it. So yes, deep listening is like listening from presence. And it's almost, in my mind, it's almost listening lightly. Because when I say deep or like, pardon me, I'm thinking here, trying to put my attention there. And rather than, if I'm just present, if I'm just sort of settled back into all that I am, you are the essence of God, the essence of energy. You are the of infinite intelligence and creative potential. What is it like to rest in that? And when the listening, that is kind of like deep listening. Yeah. Or listening, not with the personal mind, but allowing it to kind of wash over you. And something will resonate. Something will have oh, what? I'll have you perk up. Resonates. Listen more. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please follow me. That would be lovely to see you again. It's been wonderful to be in community with you in this space. If you want to know a little bit more about me, you can check out my bio, the link in my bio. And I hope to see you again on the 31st, that's Monday, I believe, we're going to talk about how the body has a mind of its own. And just for that, it's at 9:33 a.m. Mountain Time. So hope to see you there. And yeah, thank you for your participation, being in the room that way. Love to you all. Ciao.